What is going on, everybody? We have Paco the Realtor with us today from Riverside, California. Paco, take it away. What's going on in your world?
What's up, Larry? Yes, I'm Paco the Realtor. Obviously, that is not my legal name, but that is what I go by.
Yeah,
I've been a real estate broker for 24 years in Southern California in a region called the Inland Empire, which is right in between San Diego, Orange, and LA County. We're a massive suburb. I've been a broker for 24 years full time. Um, and I pretty much am involved every which way possible. Legislatively, I'm key contacts for our congressman, our local assemblywoman, um, and I'm on our local real estate pack. And I'm past president of my association, past director of my association, and currently a director with the California Association of Realtors. So I breathe, sleep real estate. That is all I do full time.
wow. So I did not know that you had been doing this for 24 years.
Yes.
So you've seen a lot of stuff.
I have. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. I've seen it go up. I've seen it crash. I've seen it dip. I've seen it go soft landing, hard crash. None of this scares me anymore. People are always
Yeah,
buying and selling. Things just change.
yep. It's just who you have to talk to, right?
That's right. It's who you have to talk to and what you have to talk about.
So tell us a little bit about the market there in Riverside. Like, what are you guys seeing right now?
We're still it's still a seller's market. Um, Days on market used to be 7, which in Southern California is absolutely ridiculous with our prices. Now
Yeah,
days on market are 21 to 24, which by the way is more normal. Sellers are getting market value or a little bit above, a little bit. Um, 6 months ago, you'd have 10 buyers for every house. Now you have 5 buyers for every house. You still have a lot of buyers though.
yeah,
We have very low inventory because everybody's still rate locked. Everybody's sitting on their 3% interest rates. So you have to remember that over 70% of our market was resale, which was sell my house and move to a bigger, smaller, whatever, right?
yep,
Well, when you're rate locked at a 3%, you can't justify 7%, even though you have all this equity. So they're staying put, which eliminates that part, that seller slash buyer. It limits that inventory. Well, by limiting that inventory, um, home values stay where they're at. They're not crashing. I mean, I wish I was wrong. I'm in real estate, and I wish that I was wrong and the market crashed tomorrow because then things will completely open up. But
yeah,
that is not what's going to happen. I think um, inventory is going to stay low. Rates are going to drop a little this year and a little more next year. I don't think we're going to see any real movement until we get maybe to between 5.5 to 6%. Um, and so I think most people are going to stand still. We are starting to see a lot more people sell this summer for different reasons, but most of it is they're okay with paying a 6 to 6.5% interest rate um, because they made so much money on equity, at least here in our area.
yeah,
Um, so I think it's definitely an experts market. It's a market that you got to know how to. You got to keep your ears down to the ground and see what's going on. Um, and it's not a speculation market, meaning it's not a market where you're going to hope and pray. Um, the data's there, the facts are there. There's no hoping and praying. It is what it is.
yeah. So what? Oh, I'm thinking like a 3 bed, 2 bath here in Wichita would run you 200, 250. It kind of just depends on what area of Wichita. What what's that going to run you there in your area?
Well, I live in Riverside, and Riverside is considered extremely affordable. I just opened escrow under contract last week, 3 bedroom, 2 bath house, built in 1971. In pretty good condition, 1,400 square feet, and I'm in under contract for $650,000. That same house in LA would cost you above $1 million. That same house in Orange County would cost you above $1 million, and San Diego would cost you above $1 million.
So what? I guess my big question is, what is so different about California from the rest of the United States? Like, why is there such a vast difference
Wealth,
in those prices?
wealth, my friend, wealth. A few things. Putting politics aside, because everybody has a joke about Californians. Not, you guys want our money, just not our politics, right?
Right.
So you have to remember that California, if we were a country on its own, we'd be the fifth wealthiest country in the world. Our GDP, we create a immense wealth here, and that has nothing to do with real estate. That has to do with LA and the Hollywood and TV. It has to do with Silicon Valley. It has to do with agriculture. Our agriculture here is massive.
I
Um,
would not have known that.
So one of the biggest things we get when people come from the Midwest or from Arizona or Texas or wherever, and they come to California, they always say the same thing. Our fruit and vegetables taste so fresh. Well, that's because half of California is agriculture. So that's one factor. The second factor is weather. Us local Californians call it weather tax. We pay a high tax, which everybody knows, but our weather is almost perfect year round. If you live anywhere between 20 miles from the ocean and inland, and I live about 22 miles from the ocean, um, our winters get down to maybe 50. Our summers get up to 100 at the most. We have no humidity, so it's dry heat. Um, and if you live and like for and then the other thing is we have everything here. So where I live, I'm in a valley. Okay. If I drive 30 minutes that way, I get Newport Beach, Huntington Beach. If I drive 45 minutes that way, I get LA. If I drive 45 minutes that way, I get the desert. If I drive 45 minutes that way, I get the mountains, Big Bear, Arrowhead. Um, we drive to seasons here. The seasons don't come to us. So if I want snow, I go
Yeah.
up the mountain. If I want beach, I just drive that way. So the other thing is weather. And then when you have the situation where you have this kind of weather and people like to live in that weather, there's only so much real estate you have. Hence why affordability. Then the factor that with the fact that California is very expensive to build, the developers do not build enough. So because California is so regulated because of our environment, like California is big on keeping our environment blue, right? Like keeping it nature, the oceans pristine, our mountains pristine, our deserts pristine. Because the California watches its resources so much, it's very expensive for developers to go through a process to build new developments. They have to go through all these hoops that show you're not going to kill the environment, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that. So it could take 2 to 3 years from the day I buy a land to the day I actually build a house.
Really?
It's called, yeah, the entitlement process here is very long. Because of that, developers don't build enough. So we don't have enough inventory. There's not enough new houses being built anymore.
It's because it's
Uh,
not freaking worth it to wait all that long.
no, well, it is because they're going to sell it for $1 million. The problem is if I start today and it's a seller's market, that's great. But when I get it fully entitled, what happens if it becomes a buyer's market?
Right.
I'm going to wait and not build that development until the next cycle, which might be another 10 years. So there's a lot of land here that's already been entitled that they were holding off. We're going to wait for the right time. And that's what happens.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that here you can go and buy your land and get a development going in 6 months.
Yeah, no way. Not here. Not even.
Huh.
It'll take me 6 months here just to go through the process to do an ADU, an additional dwelling unit. And I already have the house. I'm just trying to do something else to it. I mean, it is what it is. It's just California for you.
Wow. All right. So what else do you have your hands in? I know you do a little bit of property management, and what else do you have your hands in?
Well, we manage properties. We have a mortgage company starting July. We just opened a credit repair company, um, and obviously I deal a lot with investors, so that's always a good thing. Um, but the biggest thing I would say is just the mortgage side of it. Rates are high, so nobody's doing anything. But like usual, the pendulum is going to swing the other way sooner or later.
Yeah,
And when it does, I want to be ready.
I would agree with you. So what would you say is your craziest real estate story in your 24 years of doing this?
Oh Jesus, Larry. I mean, the one I often tell is the one about me walking to a house that was vacant and watching a homeless guy take a dump in the oven.
Yeah.
And when I confronted him about it, his explanation was out of this world. It was, yeah, well, there's no running water, and I didn't want to go to the toilet because I couldn't flush it, so I poop in the oven so it doesn't smell the house.
Did they at least get a new oven after that?
We didn't buy the house, so we don't know.
Okay.
My clients had no interest
E-
whatsoever in that house after that.
Either that or a very very thorough deep cleaning.
Yes. Yeah, so you see it all. You see good clients, bad clients, things out of your control, things you never even thought of. I've seen so much, Larry. I can talk for hours about it, but stuff like that you see all the time. I've walked in on people doing what they're not supposed to be doing because the son stole the listing agent's key so she could meet his girlfriend there, and so you run into that, and then I ran into you walk in and you're like, this is a drug house. This is a weed house. This is a pot house.
Yeah.
And sure enough, you start seeing that the electricity is is running from the neighbor's house, and just stuff like that. You see it all. But you know, the industry definitely gives you some good stories.
That is the truth. I walked in on a naked guy once, just taking a nap in his bed. That was a good time. Turns
Yeah.
out he was just passed out drunk.
Yep. There you go. It's amazing what you see, and you gotta laugh about it because what else you gonna do? Cry about it?
Yeah, exactly. And everybody wants to hear your craziest stories, but experiencing those in the moment is like, holy crap. What are we gonna come to next?
Yeah. And then you know very well that those are those obvious stories. Then there's the emotional family stories where the husband and wife can't agree on something, and you could tell that the husband is frustrated and the wife is this, and everybody's just, it's like, oh my god, this, what they say, we're therapists. you know I've been accurate. I would say I have about a 60% accuracy of calling divorces.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna get divorced, and it's because you see the engagement in the process of buying or selling, and it's emotional. So you can see the dynamic of, instead of working together, they're doing this, and like, you did this, and I'm like, oh, this isn't gonna go pretty.
Yep. Well, and then they end up calling you a year later and like, well, Paco, we got to do what we didn't think we were gonna do and sell the house.
Yep, that house I was telling you about for $650,000 that I opened last week. That's exactly what that was. It's a
Really?
divorce, and they just couldn't. They had been married 20 years, but they got to a point where they just couldn't do it anymore. So it happens more often than you think, unfortunately.
That's crazy to me. 20 years. I mean, that there's got to be something there that not everybody knows about, or something that.
Well, there is, and you'll find out because your kids are young. So you'll find out when your whole life revolves around your kids. If there's any problems between you and your spouse, you have something in between you guys. It's the kids.
Yeah.
They're the ones that keep you busy, keep you preoccupied, help you avoid the stuff you don't want to work on. When those kids go to college or leave the house, it's not just you two. And if you guys don't work together, don't have a good relationship, that's when it comes out. So
Yep.
I can't tell you how many of my friends are going through divorces. We're going to go through divorce when the kids got older because all of a sudden It was just them two, and they realized
Hey,
they didn't
they
like each
don't.
other. They just were busy
Yeah,
with the kids.
yeah. They
So
don't like each other near as much as they thought they did.
the best advice I ever got from my cousin was, when your daughter's in school, start dating again. So that when she goes to college, you guys are building back up. She
Yeah,
said she goes, I have dinner with my husband every night, and I feel like I'm having dinner with a stranger because we have nothing in common other than our daughter. Because he works, she works, and the only thing they had in common was their kids.
yeah. Well, that makes sense. What
Not
what
real
what
estate
uh,
related, but there you go.
yeah. What else is on your mind? What do you want to end with?
I would just tell everybody that the American dream is not dead. It's more important than ever. It is a little more difficult and a little more challenging. And the message has now changed, saying that buying a house is the worst investment you can make because of high rates, high real. More important now than it ever was because it's more difficult to get it.
Yeah,
So don't listen to the naysayers. When you're ready, pull that trigger. I've never met someone who regretted buying a house. I've only met people that regretted not buying a house or more houses at a certain time.
some good advice there.
That's what I got for you, brother.
Thanks for hopping on with me.
All right, buddy. Thanks for, as always, let me know whenever you want to talk.
Yep. We'll
All right,
see you
brother.
later.
Later.